most guys, I think, regardless of who your coach is, just sharing your hands and talking through the game. Most guys, especially if you've been going through a downswing, or if you feel like you've plateaued a bit, it normally helps you just get to another level coaching. There's a couple of things. We all have, I think, our own individual blind spots. $159 base says, I thought the rake back was about 20% on party without Diamond Club. So Diamond Club, if you're Diamond Club Elite, you'll get 65% rake back, and then with leaderboards there'll be 10 or 20% kind of thing. So it's pretty challenging, I think, for a guy playing 20s to get Diamond Club Elite. But if you're playing 100s, it's definitely achievable, right? And let's call the 6s. And the leaderboards, I think at the 10s and 20s, I'm not entirely sure, but you can definitely get somewhere between 10 to 30%, depending on the day. Sometimes higher, sometimes lower. Not really lower, I would say. They're normally at least a kind of baseline of 15%. So I just picked, and I wanted to pick an arbitrary number because I didn't want to calculate every time. Nice river, by the way. Because yeah, I'm not going to compete for the leaderboards at the 20s because I'm playing 100, right? So I just wanted to kind of say, in hypothetical land where I am competing for the leaderboards, let's say on average I make 20% from that. And let's say I'm not Diamond Club Elite, but I'm Diamond Club 55 plus 20. Let's just call it a flat 75. Seems fair. Plus it makes it easier to calculate. And then we just don't change it. So like it'll be 75 when I'm playing 50s. It'll be 75% if I move up to 100s eventually. And it's just a number to kind of help. And like I say, I tried to keep it somewhat reflective of what someone could achieve in game. High as possible, by the way. You could definitely probably do better than 75% as well. But yeah, for the Bankroll Challenge, we wanted to... We're not playing without raid back, obviously, you know. Anyway. Not going to probe this. Prefer a spade here. It says, 20k spins normal, 65 True. Is that good? That is good, yes. I thought I need to be 10s or 20s. I think if you got 20k spins at $5 spins with 65 True, they'll probably be, that's probably an option. No problem. We'll get you at the 10s, no problem. I think I will just go for a little bet here. See what happens. If he calls King High SI, we lose. I think it's quite tough to call King High SI here, but I might be wrong. I like that we've got a jack. I like that we've got a 3, unblocking folds. Cool. It's Noki with E. That doesn't help because it could be Noki with E. I'll be honest, Noki or Noki. I knew the E part of the pronunciation. I didn't know it was knock or no. Is it Noki or Noki? It's E. Thank you. 18 chips down, 20 splashes. I just got back to spins a month ago. I played probably even before you. Spin 1 million win max in 2019. Nice, Noki. Did you win though, Millie? Let's go for a bet. I had my very first spin game in 2014, September. I remember it clearly. Played on PokerStars.France, a $1 spin game, which I once reviewed, and I played really badly. Still won though, so. And it's weird to think, like, in your poker career, things, had I not won that game and gone on a bit of a winning spree at the start, I might have been like, I don't want to play these anymore. But it was like, oh, no, these are good. I should keep playing these. Yeah, fun. I love our unblockers. I like that we block 7975. I think it's triple barrel time. That's the extent of my thinking at this spot. We definitely, let's say, our value range would be any 8x plus, 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings. We don't really want to bet hands that have equity against an 8x, for example. But this is obviously fun. Galactus says, Tom, for your next challenge, I propose a special challenge. 20 hours coaching with a student. And it might as well be me. And compare before and after GPV. We could do that. Most guys, I think, regardless of who your coach is, just sharing your hands and talking through the game. Most guys, especially if you've been going through a downswing, or if you feel like you've plateaued a bit, it normally helps you just get to another level coaching. There's a couple of things. We all have, I think, our own individual blind spots when we're trying to analyze our games. There are certain types of analysis that if you've never worked with a coach before, you may be a bit more like, oh, I didn't know, like that's a really fun thing to do. If we look at like I'm trying to look at some examples just PT4, right? You just look at PT4 and you look at the frequencies of which you do stuff. Some guys are fairly new to GTO software, for example. Some guys are new to just like some of the bet sizing, combinatorics. There's loads and loads of little things to think about. But yeah, that could be an option. Nice though. I'm glad we won the Queen 2 against Queen 2. Isaac says dual stream spins challenge. What? What's a dual? Do I have to? I need to invite people as a guest, don't I, into the stream? I think. The big. I'll say that in a second. Valkyria 981 says hello Valkyria. Have you played in iPoker? I have not. Have you played in it? Would you recommend it? Lauren says I'm sending the application right now. Happy days. Good luck. Mention if you put a mention in. Texas Tomo. I'm a friend of his on Twitch, and I go, ooh, this is one of the Texas Tomo applicants, the Twitch stream ones. And I go, let's put that into the other pile with the rest of the Twitch stream applicants, aka the recycle bin. They don't do that. They go straight to the front, and they give it a big tick, and they go, yes, let this person in. Mr. says, how many spins do you need to get a true reading of your game? Again, depends on whether you play ultras or X speeds. There's no such thing as a true reading of your game, to be honest. But obviously, we can say the more spins, the more reliable that sample is in terms of reducing the noise of card distribution. But what we also can say is that if you're comparing, say, let's say you play 100,000 spins, the way you will be playing spins, both from yourself and also the population, is just naturally different when you started than when you ended. And so you can't just take 100,000 games and say, well, this is what I am as a GPP player, and that's what I've been the whole way through. Like, there'll be times when you're playing poorly and the population's playing well. There'll be lineups that you do worse, and there'll be lineups you do better in. So I think it's something to think about. But I would say, if you're playing reg speeds and you've got I'm going to throw some numbers which are not perfect. What I'm going to suggest, Mr. Jingles, by the way, go download yourself an application called Swong Sim. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Swong Sim. This will help answer a lot of your questions because you can play around with loads of variance stuff, and that'll be really useful. A Swong. There we go. So let's say you play 2,000 games. You're like, well, I want to know is that good enough or not. And then let's say you had 60 chips. All right, we'll give you a standard deviation of 400. We'll do 750. I know I'm doing this live while also playing poker. Whoops. So let's say you're 2,000 games and you've got 60 chips. What you can say is 99% of the time my chip V is at least 39.4. 97% of the time it's below 80. And then you say, well, 90% of the time it's not higher than 71. 90% of the time it's higher than 48. And they can give you that idea, because there's no such thing as like, this is your chip V, this is where you're at. They're just varying degrees of confidence, right? That's all we can really do. We won that game. That's lovely. So I think you need to try and get that sort of feeling. And you can play around. So let's say, for example, you have 2,000 games, 60. And let's say you have 5,000 games and your chip V drops a little bit. And you think, oh, no, what am I actually doing? 55. And you can draw it again. I keep pressing save, sorry. Draw it again. And you can say that over those 5k games, your chip V, your true chip V, which again doesn't really exist because it's varying every game, would have been your average chip V over those games would have been somewhere between this at these percentiles. So these are useful things, I think. And given your questions, I think this would be really helpful. It's a free program as well, so you can play around with that all as much to your heart's content, and see how you think. Play around with the variance, play around with the stuff as well.